Hey everybody, this is Mike Brunn from the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. I got a special episode here tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Vinnie Vincent birthday bash. I got Rip Rokken with me tonight, one of the lucky people who were there at the event. Rip, why don't you just introduce yourself, say hello to everybody.
Hi. Well, I go by Rip Rokken on the internet. I've been active in the rock and roll community in a fan capacity for probably about since 2007. On Facebook, I go by John Clayton, and there's a little bit of a story behind that. I quit traveling for a couple of years, killed off the Rip Rokken account on Facebook. I had another account that I used for a completely separate interest, and then, once I decided to start doing this again, it just sort of became a catch-all for all the stuff I was doing. So, a little bit confusing, but Rip Rock and John Clayton, you can call me whatever you want to.
Awesome, thanks. So I guess how did you first get into Vinnie Vincent? Was it through his solo stuff in the 80s? Was it through Kiss? What was your first introduction to Vinnie?
Man, I would have to say my first introduction was Creatures of the Night,
Yep,
obviously.
absolutely.
And right when that album hit, I was going through a really tough time, relationship stuff. My fault completely, but I remember that song, I Still Love You. And that was just, that really kind of got me through that tough time. That song did. And then from then, Lick It Up, obviously, and then Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I mean, that stuff was just over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge fan of All Systems Go. I mean,
Yep,
it has
me
some of
too.
my favorite songs of all time. Love
Yep,
Kills,
yep,
This Time of Year.
absolutely.
Ashes to Ashes is one of my very favorite guitar solos. I
Yep.
mean, it's just incredible stuff.
Absolutely. Agreed. No, I love that album. All Systems Go to me is the superior of the two albums, my opinion, but they're both good stuff. So you and I actually first, I'll say, met online because we were both going to
Yeah,
be going to Graceland, and I think it was you that recognized we were going to be actually a couple of seats apart from each other. So
yeah.
was that going to be your first Vinny event? Was that the Graceland thing? Or did you go to Atlanta?
I did not go to Atlanta. In fact, here's how it kind of started, I guess. Vinny had been gone from the scene for quite a while,
Mm-hmm.
and there was the whole "Where is Vinnie Vincent"
Yep.
type of thing going on. And I just had it in my mind at one point in time, man, I need to go find this guy, really,
Mm-hmm.
and tell him that people love him. And obviously that didn't happen and stuff. But then the next thing I knew, he came back in Atlanta. I was like, whoa, he's back,
Yep.
you know. And so my first event was going to be Graceland. I think we saw each other on Facebook.
Yep.
I don't remember who mentioned first that they were going to be on the front row, and I'm like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
me too,
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to say hi. And
Yeah,
so here we
exactly.
are.
So here we are, exactly, a few months later. Now, did you buy a ticket to the Memphis thing when that was get rescheduled, or what was your story there?
Yes, I went to Memphis for the first night, and I bought early. Like I remember, I was watching. Oops, I am so sorry about
Not a
that.
problem.
Should have silenced my phone.
Not a problem.
Um, I was remember watching online. I've gotten pretty good about getting tickets like that,
Hmm.
except for the fact that all the good tickets seem to be already sold before they even go on sale these days anymore. Not these though. And I remember, I think it was like 3 seconds in when they announced that they were going on sale. I checked, and within like a couple minutes, all the front row tickets were gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, crap.
Right, right.
And then I checked a couple days later, and one appered back, and I
Oh, wow.
snagged it.
Hmm.
I snagged it,
Hmm.
and then in a second purchase, I bought the VIP pass. And for me, it was going to be an easy trip because I live in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay,
So it was a 2-hour drive. I didn't have to worry about flights, hotels, any of that kind of stuff.
sure.
And so then from that point, of course, they added on the half shred, half acoustic. Then it became
Hmm.
a night thing.
Yeah.
At a point, I was kind of getting a little bit worried because I was like, man, is this really what he wants to do? It seems like
Yeah.
it's just kind of blossoming out of control. And then when they announced that it had been postponed, I was halfway good until they said it was moved to Nashville, and then there
Mm.
was the option to refund, or I just
Yeah.
decided to go ahead and refund at that time.
Yeah.
I think I made the right choice at the time because I was
Hmm.
feeling a bit weird about the promoter.
Yep, absolutely agreed. So then, I guess a couple of months ago, he announces he's going to do the birthday bash, and you decide to jump in on that. So I guess just talk about. I know there's a lot of stories on the internet that
Right,
people were only invited to this through a special invite or whatever. I don't
right,
believe that's the case. It seems like fans are able to just purchase their way in if they wanted to, probably such as
right.
yourself. But just talk about how you ended up being able to attend the event.
Well, I heard about it. Of course, there was the Graceland shows, then there was the Nashville shows. After that, there was another one. It was going to be a Speedball Jam show.
Yep.
I was going to be good for that one too. I was planning to go. Unfortunately, it fell through.
Hmm.
But then soon after that, the birthday bash event was announced. By this time, I was already fairly entrenched with the Vinny fans and everything, so I
Hmm.
was receiving the information as it came along, and I was like, man, that really sounds good. Actually, the way it was described, it really sounded like the type of thing I'd be into even more,
Hmm.
which is just, hey, let's just hang out with Vinny,
Right.
And they said, he'll bring along an acoustic guitar, he'll tell some stories, we'll hang out, we'll enjoy some birthday cake, that kind of stuff, and just have some hang time. And I was like, sounds good to me,
Right. Right.
no cattle call meet and greets or anything,
Hmm.
and the price was very reasonable. That's one thing. People say, oh, who would pay $300 for something like that? Dude, let me tell you, we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
you can't get all the stuff that we got for $300 anywhere. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I
yeah,
agree. $300 I know was a 6 hour roughly event to me, but like I said, we'll get into that in a moment. All right, so you
yeah,
buy the ticket, and I think as recent as Saturday, at least for those of us who weren't attending, we didn't have an idea. Was this event happening? Was it not happening? Was it at the
right.
hotel? I know there's another expo at the hotel, and people were saying, yeah, there's no sign of Vinny here. Did you
Yeah.
know on Saturday that it was going to be an SIR? How did you find out where it was going to be? Just talk us through that a little bit.
Let me address the whole secrecy
Yeah,
aspect of it first, because this is crucial.
absolutely.
If you're reading the forums, you'll see a lot of people saying, well, this was a poorly advertised event. They did no promotion and stuff. This isn't
Hmm.
fair to the fans. I have been saying since day one for all the people I'm talking about, look, this is a different type of event.
Yep.
We're not trying to fill a venue.
Hmm.
We're not trying to rate. It's not a cash grab. We're not trying to see how much money we can make, how much money it's not about that. How many
Hmm.
people we can get in the seats. It was designed to be a small, intimate event. And
Yep.
the key to making that happen was to keep the details under wraps.
Hmm.
Now, even us, the people that were attending, did not exactly know where the event was going to take place.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I'm in the cybersecurity field. It's what we call layered security. So
Right.
first of all, we're keeping details private.
Hmm.
And where else these days does that happen?
Right.
That you don't have any leakers. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And then, so we're keeping it private, but then the actual location was kept private from us. So it was really well orchestrated. We were told, hey, here's the official event from the hotel. It was close to the actual venue, which was Surf Studios. And about 30 minutes before, we got the text. We're sitting there in the lobby,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
he says, come on down, man. We're ready.
Okay.
And we headed that way. And so as we were headed, I took the address and I Googled it, and I was like, oh, it's SIR Studios.
Hmm.
So cool, man. And yeah, but it was just, it wasn't about trying to exclude anybody,
Right.
but it was crucial that the numbers be kept to a fixed amount of about 30 people, and
Hmm.
that's about what we had, plus a few,
Right.
because otherwise we wouldn't be able to, I mean, the fans would have lost the experience that they had. We would have run way over, which we already ran over.
Hmm. Hmm.
It just wouldn't have been the same.
Sure.
You would have had people showing up at the door. I mean, it's just. Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same.
Absolutely. So you get the text, SIR Studios. Yeah, I guess everybody buses, I think it was over there, or whatever it is, Uber, however they get there. So I hear that everybody's in the hallway now. You're not let in yet, and you
Right.
just could hear guitar playing. And I've heard different people
Yeah.
saying, hey, Vinny had said that he was going to be playing some demos, and some people are thinking, oh, he's playing one of his demos. Talk
Right.
about that experience when you get there. You hear the guitar playing. What was that like?
Okay, so you have to to set the stage here, and most of us like carpool. We just crammed in our cars and
Okay.
head that way.
Hmm.
So we walk in. They've got like a chain link fence. I think it had some barbed wire on top and everything. I mean, this is like a famous studio.
Hmm.
And you walk in and there's like a photo of Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Okay.
Apparently she comes in there all the time. And we hear the guy greets us and everything, and we're just lined up in the hall. And there's someone just wailing on an electric guitar back
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Obvious that they know what to do with it, and we
Hmm.
pretty much know who it is.
Hmm.
And some of the other guys have commented that they thought it was a CD.
Okay.
Um, I was just kind of like whoa.
Hmm.
And I said to Steve, the organizer, I said, who is that back there? He said, who do you think it is? He
Hmm.
said, give us about 5 minutes. He needs about 5 minutes. And we said, okay. So we're just sitting there and we're just like, He says, come on back.
Hmm.
So we walk down the hall, and this is what's surreal. The room that we're in, on the left of it, is a big old poster of Gene Simmons
Oh, wow.
in full
Okay.
Kiss makeup. And on the other side, big old poster of Paul Stanley. And then right in the middle, we walk through the door. the room is dimly lit, but they've got concert lighting in there, green and red and all this kind of stuff. And right there on the stage is Vinnie Vincent with his Carvin double V guitar plugged into a Marshall amp and a row of effects, just ripping it up. And he gets a big old smile when we walk in. And dude, I mean, I can't tell you the emotional rush. And if someone's not there, they may not understand. But dude, several of us teared up because there's all the rumors. You know what the shot was out there. Oh, Vinny can't play anymore. He can't even play solo to lick it up. And dude, he just put it all to shame. I mean, we were just like, yeah. I mean, we were loud. Right. We gathered right up near the front. Dude, I was 4 feet away from him, and I was not the closest. There were people that were like a foot away. Wow. One guy there was another shredder, and he was just sitting there fixated watching his fingers. And I mean, I'm not a super guitar technical type of guy. I do play, but I've never been into all the super technical stuff. Yep. So my description here of what I saw is maybe not the most eloquent, but have you ever seen the old Vinnie Vincent guitar instructional video?
Years ago, yes.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yep. His movements in both hands and the way he sort of rocked back and forth as he was playing was very similar. And it was like, I'd never seen him perform live. Okay. I mean, his picking hand was a blur. I mean, it was going so fast that it was a blur, and his fingers were just spidering all over the neck. Wow. And he was just shredding. Then he's moving and strutting back and forth on the stage and smiling at us. And dude, I mean, we talk about the adrenaline rush.
Right. It was amazing. So now, how long was that? When you first walked in, how long did he play? Was it like 10, 15, 20 minutes?
I think it was exactly that. It was probably around the 15-minute mark. Okay. So, I mean, he's a little bit older than I am. And he's just sitting up there. I mean, to be able to do that for like 15 minutes straight, nonstop. The other guy I mentioned that was a fellow shredder, he's already dissected everything and said, here's what he was doing. He laid it all out. Yeah, it was quite technical. And he said, dude, that was a lot of technique. That was a lot of technique. And and then he finishes up and he greets us and says, welcome.
Right. So let's talk through that part, right? So he performs, like you said, for like 15 minutes. After that, it's a long event. It's 5 hours. I know there was food there. There's meet and greet. I've seen pictures online with people. Talk us through what the rest of the event was like, just hanging out there. Talk us through that.
So what we talked about was, it wasn't even heavily discussed, but Vinny might bring an acoustic guitar, play a few songs, tell some stories. We knew that there would be a Q&A session. Submit your questions in advance. They'll pick the best ones and ask them. Plus, there was some live back and forth Q&A. We would have food, drinks, and play some unreleased demos. And so as soon as we finished, dude, he had the biggest smile on his face. Obviously, we did too. And then he just starts greeting people, and he knows everyone by name, and it's amazing. There were some people he didn't know. He didn't know me personally, or I didn't think so. And so I walked up. He said, "Hi." He said, "What's your name?" And I told him my real first name, and he goes, "You're John Clayton." And I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, yeah. What? Okay, cool." And I said, "Dude," I said, "that was amazing." I said, "Can I give you a hug?" And he goes, "Absolutely." So I give him a big old hug. Other people are doing the same. He comes out and mingles. He said, "Look, guys, I've got tons of food here. There's lots of drinks. We're going to play some music. We're going to play some unreleased stuff." He said, "You guys, this party is for you. You guys have fun. I want you to have a blast." And so we just start mingling. Now, at first, not a lot of people were going for the food. I'm usually shy about being the first person to grab a plate. Okay. I talked to him a little bit after that, and he was talking to other people. I mean, this probably went on for, 20, 30 minutes or something like that. And then I looked over at the spread, and I was like, wow, this is, where did they get all this stuff? It was amazing. And I asked him, I said, "Dude," I said, "who catered the food?" And he goes, "Oh," he said, "I did it all myself." Wow. I said, wait, you made all this stuff?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "I wanted it to be right for you guys, and I wasn't going to trust anyone else to do it. I knew if I wanted it to be right, I had to do it myself." I was like, "Thank you."
Right. Really, props to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, who else is going to go to that kind of trouble?
Absolutely. So, you touched on a few things there. So this was the first time you met him?
First time.
Right, yeah. So it amazes me. I met him 3 or 4 times last year, having never met him before. And the 4th time was right before the Kiss Expo, right, at the pre-party. and I'm waiting online to meet him, and I'm like 7, 8 people away, and he just looks up and he points, Mike from New York, how you doing? And I'm like, you kidding me? Now, I don't know if that's cool or if I'm a little creeped out that he actually remembers who I am, because he meets hundreds and hundreds of fans. It amazes me that, like you said, like you told him your name and he instantly is able to make that connection, you know?
Right.
You know, and then to me,
Absolutely.
when I've met him, he's been nothing but friendly and the opposite of everything that you read on the internet, at least when meeting him face to face with the fans, at least my experience.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, is this a little dark? The sun went down, I think, and I could put a lamp on or something.
I'm okay. It looks okay on my side.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's
no,
getting dark outside. So
Yeah, no, you look okay. So, you know, your meet and greet with him, you know, how long was that meet and greet? How long did he, you know, stay with each of the fans individually? Was it like that, or was it like just mingle?
I would say that the mingle probably lasted maybe about 45 minutes. It's
Okay.
really hard to say. You know, we were really in the moment. Oh, by the way, he asked us if we want to hear some music, popped on some CD. We had a sound guy there and a full sound setup, like a DJ deal. And so Vinny goes over there and starts spinning some tunes. And, you know, we're just rocking and everything. And then at some point he asked us, he said, hey, you want me to play for you again? And, you know, you can guess what the answer was, right?
Of course, right? Of course.
He gets back up there and he plugs up again and starts again. So between what we heard in the hallway, what we heard when we walked in, and then that second session, I would say about 40 good minutes
Wow.
of shredding.
Very nice.
And, you know, I've heard some people say, you know, oh, you know, who wants to hear that for 40 minutes? Are you kidding? I mean,
Right.
that's the big question out there. Can he do this anymore?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Dude, not only that, let me tell you this. I said it was like being straight back in 1987 again. Some of the guys that are more technically inclined said that he's actually improved. So
wow.
they said, oh, I mean, he was even better than I remember. So I accept that. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was absolutely amazing.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Now, you mentioned the food before also, and I've read
Yeah.
online that he worked on the spread himself. What kind of
Yeah.
food was there? You know, I've read salads and sandwiches. What was there for you guys?
You know, from what I understand, he's really into nutritious eating and stuff. It was a really healthy selection of stuff. There were several different types of salads. There was some meat and cheese. There was, I remember, a potato salad, a macaroni salad, a really nice, lovely leafy salad. It could have been kale. I can't remember exactly. I mean, it was just delicious. What else? There was just a ton of stuff. I've counted them all off before.
Right.
Oh, and a beautiful fresh fruit salad too. And I'm a big fruit nut, man. I'll get a whole big plate of fruit. So when I finally, after we wrapped up the first leg of the Q&A, dude, I had about 2 plates of it. And yeah, I couldn't help but talk about that on the internet too. Some people think it's silly, but no, people need to know what trouble he went to for us and how good it was.
Yeah, no, I think that's very cool. Now, I've also read, and maybe this is not right, that he had some old Kiss memorabilia there, I guess on display, maybe for sale. I'm not sure. You know, help fill in the blanks there. You know, what was there for the fans to see?
So the memorabilia that was there, I don't, you know, I'll tell you this, the whole for sale part was, whatever that was such a minor, small, non-focused part of the event. So I don't really know what was for sale or not. He had a lot of things out for display. Okay. It could be that some people were able to buy some things, but as far as what we had out, I know that the pink blouse from the first Vinnie Vincent Invasion album cover was there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of
cool.
surreal looking at that,
Sure.
and also the jacket from the that time of year video. Yeah, that was there, and boy, it was really cool. Yeah, there was some the belt from the Lick It Up album cover was there.
Okay.
Now that was owned by a fan. He brought it.
Okay.
One of the original 2 Ankh pendants that had been created for him for the Creatures of the Night tour was there. And not only that, someone else has designed these beautiful reproduction Ankhs that were made to the specification. Yep. I mean, exact specs. And I've got a picture of me holding the original and the repro in my hand, and you really can't tell the difference. I mean, they're in color, weight, size. I mean, the guy did an amazing job. And they did a 100 limited run edition. And when you got those were for sale. And when you got those, you got one of these really nice certificates of authenticity. And Vinny signed it on the spot in gold.
Oh, nice.
So,
very nice.
Yeah. Are you sure that's not too dark? It looks dark on my screen, but if you can see it, fine.
I could see. Yeah, I could see it. Looks good. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, No, to me, that's all very cool. I've seen pictures of that on the internet and
Yeah.
it looked really cool to me. I was like, you know what? I don't collect a lot of the newest stuff these days, but I'm like, damn, that's something I would have bought if I was there. That looks too damn cool to pass
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and there was also you've probably seen the jacket with the leopard print shoulders in it that he's
Hmm.
worn so many times. I believe that was there. There were also some stage clothes that he'd worn with Kiss, probably in the Lick It Up era.
Okay.
I remember some red pants, some black pants.
Hmm.
I don't have encyclopedic knowledge. I'm not one of those kind of fans,
Right, right.
but I just do cool stuff. That's my
There you
content.
go. Nothing wrong with that. Now, do you remember anything in the Q&A that kind of like piqued your interest? What, whether it's something you didn't know from the past or something in the future that you could share with us for those of us who weren't there? That, I respect if you don't want to share some of that
Sure.
stuff. I know it was a private event, but is there anything you could share from the Q&A?
Absolutely. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he had his tour itineraries from uh, the Rio show, I believe,
Okay. Oh, wow.
uh, or around that era.
Hmm.
Had them in the original binders and stuff, and I know that some fans were really interested in looking at that stuff
Of
too.
course.
Um, the Q&A, that was where we really spent a lot of time because there were some questions that had been submitted, and one of our fellow friends, a lady named Nina, a very sweet person, was asked to come and sit on stage and read the questions and everything. But then it just became inorganic, people just asking questions
Hmm.
and stuff. And of course, for all the people out there saying, that, oh, we're like the last five sycophants that drink the pink Kool-Aid and all this stuff. These were the nicest group of people, the most respectful. They didn't crowd. They didn't, they made sure everyone got their, they were just nice. They were a
Hmm.
pleasure to hang out with, pleasure to meet. And so obviously they were very respectful in their questions too. They didn't get into a lot. There were some personal questions asked, but there were positive things
Okay.
like what are your dogs' names and
Right.
stuff like that. And there were some things that were covered. Just big questions that the fans had.
Hmm.
Regarding what happened with certain shows or
Hmm.
what's the status of this or that and all that kind of stuff. But I think we really just kind of want to know him as a person, and he told us quite a bit. It was really cool. But the biggest takeaways from it, I'll give you two big takeaways. Number
Yeah.
one, he's very happy in
Yeah.
life, very, very happy. He's in a stage now where he's at peace. He's not at war with anyone inside. He's just happy. He doesn't feel a need to prove himself to anyone. So when someone challenges him, he says, I just don't play that game.
Hmm.
So for all it gave us sort of an understanding. It's difficult when you're on the outside and you're looking, you're like, well, it might help if you played 15 seconds of you playing.
Right.
I understand that and stuff, but then once you're there and you hear his experiences and why he is that way, and then he obviously proves to us that he did it for us because he wanted to do it,
Hmm. Hmm.
But he doesn't feel any obligation out there to prove himself to anyone. Second thing was that he said he'll play anywhere if someone wants to, work a deal and he wants to get out there and play. He
Right.
actually does. He said, "Hey, go find me a place to play. I'll do it."
Hmm.
So he does intend on performing more.
Hmm.
I will tell you that there were a couple of representatives from Gibson there,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and my understanding is that there's something in the works, and there, maybe an announcement pretty soon. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Some
absolutely.
industry insiders there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to ask you if he made any reference to either recording music, or I know in the past he's mentioned writing a book. Was there anything new on either of those? Obviously, now you're saying there's people there from Gibson. What about the book? Was there anything about that?
I think someone did actually ask him about the book, and to tell you the truth, I can't remember the answer.
Fair enough.
We were all, I know me, I was already tapped on energy when I got there,
Hmm.
and by the time 10 o'clock rolled around with two plates of food in me, I was still having a blast, but I was sort of in another realm a little
Right,
bit.
right, absolutely. You know,
Yeah, I don't remember the answer about that, but the music. Now, here's an interesting thing I can tell you. He has told people that he has tons of masters and everything at his house. He
Yep.
brought bags full of
Did he
CDs.
really? Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
mean, they were just laying there, and
Hmm.
all these discs and everything. And he had intended on playing some unreleased stuff for us, and I think he did
Hmm.
at the beginning. I think some of the stuff they played originally, but I had just kind of tuned out the background stuff. I was
Hmm.
talking to him, I was talking to other fans.
Hmm.
I wish I would have taken more mental note of what was being played,
Hmm.
but he had tons of stuff around. And by the time we got to the Q&A and everything, he said, "Look, guys, we have all night. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We've got 5 hours." Those 5 hours flew by quickly, and
Absolutely. Hmm.
yeah, and so I would say probably around, let me see, probably around maybe about 10:45. We realized that there were several people there who had birthday cards for him,
Mm.
and he was going to sign some things for us too. He'd offered to sign 10 items apiece for every one of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean,
Wow.
most meet and greets you go to, you can get like 2 items.
Two or
He said, "I'll
three,
do
right?
10." Yeah, so obviously people were somewhat prepared,
Right. Okay.
and so we started the autograph session,
Hmm.
and you were Atlanta, right?
I was in Atlanta, yes.
Yeah, so you can probably, I wasn't there, I was not,
Right.
but I've heard that he really takes his time with the fans,
Absolutely.
gives them personal time and stuff, and,
Yep.
and the line may move a little slowly. Well, okay, me too.
Right.
That's,
Exactly.
yeah, I've seen it. He was
Hmm.
so personable with
Hmm.
people. I'll tell you something cool about him. If he saw you standing off by yourself just for a little bit, like I'm a little shy,
Hmm.
he'd say, "Hey, Sky, come on over here,"
Yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
So he really wanted to make sure everyone was having a good time. So midnight hit. There's still about 5 people in line. And the studios come in and they say, "Guys, we're actually, I think it was about 20 past midnight. Actually, we were supposed to be wrapped up at 12, and
Okay.
everyone's still having a blast."
Right.
And so they come in, they say, "Guys, we gotta head out. The cars have to be out of the parking lot." So some of us rush around trying to pack stuff up, and he sits here and makes sure that everyone gets taken care of.
Hmm.
That was just, we wanted to make sure that that happened. So dude, it was a long night. I know that he had stayed up quite a bit preparing
Hmm.
with the organizer, Stephen Wilkie, who's a fantastic guy. I
Hmm.
can't tell you how good this guy is.
Hmm. Oh, great.
Yeah, this is his first time organizing something like that, and it came
Hmm.
off without a hitch. I mean, it was
Awesome.
amazing. Yeah, and
Awesome.
so then they stayed together for quite a few hours afterwards, wrapping up. And my understanding is that Vinny's still on cloud nine from the event. I heard that
Awesome.
today, actually.
Awesome. That's very
So yeah,
cool.
there'll be more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask you at the end here
Yeah.
is that, did he make any mention of doing other events like this or anything like that?
You know what? He did talk about some of his future plans,
Hmm.
and I think he wants them to be surprises.
Okay.
And so I'll let them, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So,
But I think here's what I would recommend. If anyone out there is on the fence or anything, and I would not recommend missing the next one if you have an
hmm.
opportunity to go. I told some people out there, I said, "Look, you don't have to take my word for it.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to the next group."
Hmm.
So he did tell us actually in the Q&A. He said, "You guys are the grassroots movement,"
Right.
and so someone said, "You mean can we talk about this?" And he goes, "Yeah, tell them everything. Tell them
Right.
what you saw. Tell them what we did."
Right.
So anyway,
No, that's cool. And I really appreciate you wanting to talk about this because, as you
sure,
know, they didn't let anybody take pictures during the event except for the meet and greet pictures. They didn't let anybody do any videos. So, there's a lot of mystery around what exactly happened on this night.
right,
I'm
right,
sure as people watch this, there's still going to be people that say, BS, it really didn't happen. I had
sure,
a few people tell me the event really didn't even happen at all. And I was like, well, look, it definitely happened. He has, 5 or 6 different meet and greet pictures from the same spot. It without a doubt happened. They're like, oh, well, he really
yeah,
didn't play. I wasn't in
yeah,
the room. I can never say that, but there's too many people now that you see online saying the same thing that either
yeah,
Vinny had 30 of his personal friends there,
yeah.
all
Nah,
lying on his behalf, or it really
I
did.
just met him before.
Right. And like you said, yeah. And one of the things I picked up as you were talking is that there's a lot of times you refer to the whole event as we were able to do this, we were able to
Yes,
do that, and it feels like from your stories like there's this real like close bond with the fans and Vinny there that night that
yeah.
was seems like it was a really cool experience.
Well, yeah, some people have asked about the whole we aspect. I say that a lot. I've taught myself in life not to use I a lot, and if I
Mm,
do it, I apologize. But the truth is that all of us who were attending stayed informed, remained informed,
mm,
and I can't tell you how many times we complimented each other on the fact that no one leaked anything about the location. Now, remember what I said about layered security? It turns out we didn't even know. We thought it was going to be at our hotel.
Right.
You know.
Right.
In fact, do you want to hear that story? This is really funny about
Yeah,
the
absolutely. Yeah,
location.
go ahead.
Are you short on time or anything?
No, no, go ahead, please. I got all the time. Go ahead.
Okay, so originally there was the rumor that it was going to be at Rockin' Pod,
Right.
and I was in town. I'm not ashamed to say at all. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything on Friday. I'm going to go to Rockin' Pod, and if I'm not doing anything Saturday morning, I offered to help, but no help was needed. Well,
Okay.
I'll go back to Rockin' Pod. And so the funny thing was, I got there and there was someone that knew that I was going to be going. I wasn't going to tell anyone. And he said, "Hey, we think we've discovered where the venue is." I said, "Really? Where do you think it is?" And he goes, "It's right down the hall over here." And I just kind of, got a little smile on my face. I said, "Yeah, show me." So we walked down the hall, just straight down the hall from Rockin' Pond. There's this room called the Stones River Room.
Yep.
And he goes, "Yeah." So we called the hotel and asked if there's anything else going on here. And they said, "Yeah, we have a birthday party tomorrow." And it's in the Stones River Room, and there's exactly 30 seats in there. And there was. So they thought they'd figured it out, right? So then the next day, I just zipped my lip. And the next day, someone showed up with some hot pink frosted birthday
I heard about this. Yeah.
and pink balloons and a pink tablecloth. And they were convinced.
Right.
From what I heard, that room caused quite a stir. And then an elderly family showed up, and it was their birthday. So
it's a great story. It's an absolute great. Now, there was a picture of Vinny sitting in like a hotel banquet room like that, all alone at a table. Obviously, that never happened. That must be a Photoshop picture, I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely. And that's funny, too, because the guy that did that picture, I call him my favorite troll, actually. He takes a joke as much as I do, so we joke with each other back and forth. Most of his Photoshops, you can tell they're Photoshopped, like a picture of Vinny holding a poster, but it's good, but it doesn't look quite right. This one was pretty good.
Right.
But the thing was, when I saw that picture, I saw that the group was talking about it, and it actually convinced some people that something had gone wrong.
Right.
I said, let me put your minds at ease. I'm standing in front of that room right now, and here's what it looks like, and it was empty.
Right.
Right. So I think that picture caused quite a stir. In fact, it caused another, I won't name him, but another pretty well-known podcaster in the KISS community. I ran into him at Rockin' Pod, and he goes, I walked up to him and I said, "Hey," I said, "by the way, be nice to Vinny." And smiling, he goes, "Oh, hey, did you hear he canceled?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "The birthday bash, it's canceled. It was supposed to be down the hall and blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Are you going to do a show about it?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, I'll probably be on next week." I said, "I look forward to seeing it."
Right. Very funny. Very funny. So one more thing I wanted to touch on here.
Sure.
So I heard that he gave a number of, I'll say, gifts. So I had posters that he signed for people at the event.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you get any of that stuff? Do you have any of that stuff maybe you could show us handy at your fingertips? Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Let me see if in fact, I've got 3 posters here that were free for people that came. Obviously, you've probably seen the birthday bash photos. Let me turn this light on here for just
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that too bright, or is that?
I think for the posters, that'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the birthday bash poster. And then there was a couple of posters that were designed by another fan that were just really, really cool. And he was given, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the birthday bash poster.
That's birthday bash, right? Okay.
No wonder it looks so dark. These other 2 were fan art that he created and made posters for. So let me see if that shows.
Very cool. Yep, very cool.
Yeah, that's one. And here's another one, too, by the same artist, and really cool.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, really cool. So Vinny was signing those. There was also a really nice, in fact, Vinny himself thought it was a portrait. It was so good. It was a picture of him wailing on a guitar, and it was done by a Russian artist. Okay. And she had given me permission to print some and bring them to the bash with her. And Vinny found out later it was a piece of art. He thought it was real. Okay. And so it was just beautiful. Yeah,
nice.
It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then beside that, of course, everyone had their swag. I've got all sorts of stuff. I'll show you the coolest item here. Check this out.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you know that Vinny was in Felix Cavalier's band Treasure.
Yep, absolutely.
1977. So I found a pristine copy of that album at a record store. It's never been played before. It was a demo. got it really cheap, and he actually signed it for me as Vinnie Cusano.
Oh, how awesome is that? Wow. Very
Yes, I
cool.
don't know if he's ever signed an autograph like that before.
Now, did you
Uh,
ask him to do that like that?
yeah.
And how did he react?
Oh, he said, sure, sure. And he signed it. And then he laughed. He said, oh, look, I still wrote the star on it. He said,
Uh-huh.
force.
Yeah, I noticed that as you were showing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, pictures. Here's one from my office. It's a little 5x7.
Very nice.
And then, of course, several 8x10s. Um, I've never seen anyone that draws a cleaner autograph than
I
Vinnie
agree.
Vincent.
Absolutely. I agree.
And talk about a Smith with the silver, the gold pen. There's never a smear. I don't know how he
Yeah.
does it. Had one of these
Nice.
old demo,
Nice.
and then what else I get? Bunch of all my CDs signed. I won't show you all the covers, but there's both Vinnie Vincent albums, Kiss Revenge, Kiss Lick It Up, and yeah, that kind of see how it glows, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, absolutely.
and he just does that, and it's like art.
Right.
He's a perfectionist.
Right. Well, and yeah, I've heard people make comments about the price of the event or whatever.
Right.
Just for the number of items he was willing to sign for everybody, for the $300 price tag, you get your money's worth just on that alone. Forget the food, forget the performance, forget the hangout atmosphere and everything else. An autograph is going to go for $50 a piece easily, and you just showed whatever it was, 7, 8, 9 different items that he signs for you.
Right, right, yeah, absolutely. I think he did 10. Actually, I've got 11 because when I bought the Yankee, he signed that too. So,
Nice, nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. No, I mean, to me, it just sounds like a great event.
Oh,
I had gone to Atlanta. I was scheduled to go to Graceland. I chose not to try to go to this one. I just, quite frankly, couldn't get there over the weekend, whether it
sure,
was for
sure.
the Rock and Pod Expo or the Vinny thing.
Yeah,
It just wasn't in the cards for me. But certainly hearing your story makes me say, if he does something else like this, it's something I got to at least think about a little bit and figure out, hey, could I work that out maybe? So,
yeah.
before we wrap up here, is there anything I didn't ask you about that you're like, hey, the fans should really know about this?
Oh, wow. There was some stuff that was really cool. There was one item that was there. This is funny. There was one item there that was on the table with him. And his guitars. He played the Carbon Double V, but
Right.
he also had the Ibanez. It's a one of a kind Ibanez from the Love Kills video. There's that
Nice.
scene
Mm-hmm.
where he's dressed as Freddy and he does the
Yep.
pick straight down it.
Yep.
That's an
Mm-hmm.
Ibanez. So we all held that and took pictures with him.
Nice.
I looked at my picture a little bit later, and the way I was holding it, it looked like I was trying to elbow him in the face, maybe. So I thought, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
after the signatures, I thought, man, I got to get a good picture. I said, hey, Vinny, can I take one more picture with you? And he goes, yeah, sure, come on over. So I sit at the table with him, and I realize he's holding an item that would drive everyone nuts if they saw it.
What's that?
They would be excited. I can't tell you what it is. I had to
Okay.
crop it out of the pictures, and I had to ask. I was like, yeah, because it has to do with upcoming stuff.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, unreleased stuff. So it would just yeah cause a wave. But it was really cool. I got a laugh, and I was like, whoa, I mean, he's holding it. Does he want me to put this out there? And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
nah, let me not do that.
Right, right, right.
So I cropped the picture pretty short.
Very
But
cool.
but he really held nothing back from us. He answered every question, and he showed a great deal of trust in us. There's only one other thing I want to say
Yeah.
because I really didn't cover the whole non-recording thing. You
Mm-hmm.
are right. That's the one thing everyone's asking about is BS. This didn't happen, or else you'd produce some video. I think that we live in a world these days that you just expect that someone's going to leak stuff,
Absolutely.
and it's really rare to have a group of people and you just ask them politely, don't record,
Mm-hmm.
and they all volunteer to turn their phones off, and we just
Mm-hmm.
did. So there is no, let me tell everyone out there, listen to me now, there is no video of the performance, so quit
Mm-hmm.
asking stuff.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'll be the first to say I'm jealous when I hear that, and I totally get wanting to make an exclusive
Sure.
event like this. I'm all for something like that.
Right.
Saying that, I do wish, not even a fan, I wish Vinny himself recorded a 30-second clip, because I think, if I saw something like that or other fans saw something like that, you may go from being on the fence to
Sure.
selling out an event like that because you have so many people wanting to go. But
Absolutely.
hey, Vinny could choose to market himself however he wants. And from
Yeah.
all accounts of people that I've heard that are there, everybody has said it was a great time. So, who am I to
Yeah.
judge how he wants to live his life and run his events? That's his business. He wants to keep it to 30 people and keep it like that. More power to him, I guess.
Yes, and by the way, once the performance was over, phones were cool. We were taking pictures all over the
Right.
place. They didn't mind, and there was all sorts of stuff. He had bags of unreleased demos on the floor, which I wasn't taking pictures of, but they showed up in a couple of my shots. I mean, there was just so much stuff, and people even asked if we took pictures of the food. I understand that someone did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and that would be fine. Who knows? We may throw that out there. But other than that, the one thing I would just tell people again, because a lot of people, this is the thing that's hardest for people to understand, is this was not designed to be a big event.
Yeah.
And so the whole, play a little bit and more people will come in, you'll make more and all that kind of stuff, people will flood in. The way we were looking at this one was, hey, 30 people this time, 100 people next time.
Right.
The word will get out and stuff. And people want to come, they'll come. But I would also say I wouldn't be surprised what he does in the future at all. He's really excited. And I think pretty soon it's not just going to be us saying this cool stuff.
Right. Right. Well, I hope so, because I think he's a great talent, a great songwriter. And,
Right.
I hope he has more events like this that fans find to be fun and to be cool. And I know when I went to Atlanta last year, that was an expo I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
And, I wish him nothing but the best, and I don't get caught up in all the drama that goes back and forth. People are going to be on both sides. I respect both sides. I understand both sides. If somebody like yourself went and had a great time, that's great to me. And, from everything you're saying here, to me, sounds like it was worth every penny and probably more.
Yeah, yeah. And some people say, another question a lot of people ask is, well, how do you get into an event like this?
Yep.
Just being a cool guy like you. That's all it is. I mean, so you would be more than welcome at the next one, obviously. I mean, and the info was out there. If people wanted to look for it, it had been posted around that, hey, contact the organizer if you'd like to come and stuff. So, but people were watching the website for details and everything. And so, people, if they wanted to, they, it wasn't marketed in the traditional way, but
Absolutely.
it wasn't completely secret. There was a way to get in,
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, I knew about it on the internet for a couple of months, so if people were interested, I'm sure they could have found it. And maybe the next one, based on some of the feedback they're hearing, more people will want to attend.
Absolutely. I think so.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on your show.
No,
it's nice to meet you.
Absolutely. It's great to meet you, and I really appreciate you wanting to do this. I think it's helpful to set the record straight of what the experience was like. And again, I appreciate it, Rip. Thanks a lot for everything. And
absolutely.
I guess for everybody watching this, thanks to Rip for giving this great information. My page on Facebook, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. Please go check that out. I'll be posting this on there. I'll be posting it on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike_Brunn. And that's where you'll find all the latest information, Vinnie Vincent, Kiss, and all things rock and roll. So again, Rip, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. This was great. And have a good one.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thanks a lot.